The quality of anything can be improved only when it is in small numbers. So, it is said that small is always beautiful. Most of the problems of any country originate at the population growth, which is rapidly increasing or exploding day to day in India. In countries like India and China, though it is possible to decrease, it is very complicated. But we should work hard in reducing the population growth. Of course, economic growth can be extremely supportive in advancing the standards of living and to encounter deficiency. In this rationale, the discussion of quality of life index is really meaningful. Definition of quality of life index. According to ecological economist Robert Costanza, it is related to the concepts such as freedom, human rights and happiness, etc. However, since the happiness is subjective and difficult to measure, other measures are normally main concern. It has also been shown that happiness, as much it can be measured, does not necessarily increase the respectively with comfort that results from increasing income. As a result, standard of living should not be taken to be a measure of happiness. The term quality of life, it references the global well-being of individuals and societies. The term is used in a wide range of countries, including the fields of international progress, healthcare and politics. Quality of life should not be confused with the concept of standard of living, which is based primarily on income. Instead, standard indicators from the quality of life includes not only wealth and employment, but also built environment, physical and mental health, education, recreation and leisure time and social belonging, etc. The economist intelligence unit quality of life index is based on the method that links the results of subjective life satisfaction surveys to the objective determinants of quality of life across the countries. It shows how subjective satisfaction of the life is. It was developed in 1984. With the help of the above definitions, it is clear that the life quality can be defined as the physical, intellectual, emotional or cultural satisfaction in a person's everyday life. Quality of life is the foundation of performance. Steps to calculate the physical quality of life. Number 1, find the percentage of the population that is literate or the literacy rate. Find the infant mortality rate, that is out of 1000 births. Find the life expectancy through the questionnaire, how many years they live. Physical quality of life is equal to the literacy rate plus indexed infant mortality rate plus indexed life expectancy. It is a combination of all. First one is physical quality of life index. Is an attempt to measure the quality of life or well-being of a country. This value is the average of these statistics: basic literacy rate, infant mortality and the life expectancy at the age 1, all equally weighted on 0 to 100 scale. It was developed for the Overseas Progress Council in the mid 1970s by David Morris. As one of the member of measures of created due to dissatisfaction with the use of GNP as an indicator of the progress. The physical quality of life index might be regarded as an improvement, but shares the general problems by measuring the quality of life in a quantitative way. It has also been criticized because there is a considerable overlap between infant mortality and the life expectancy. The quality of well-being scale is a general health quality of life questionnaire which measures overall status and well-being over the previous 3 days in 4 areas: physical activities, social activities, mobility, and symptom or problems or complexes. It consists of 71 items and takes 20 minutes to complete. There are 2 different descriptions of quality of well-being. The Human Poverty Index. The Human Poverty Index was an indication of the standard of living of a country developed by the United States to complement the Human Progress Index, and was first reported as a part of the Human Progress Report on 1997. It was considered to be a better replicate that extent of deprivation in developed countries compared to the Human Development Index. In 2010, it was succeeded by United States Multidimensional Poverty Index. The quality of life in India continues to be very bad and ranked poorly at 134 among 182 countries on the Human Development Index of the United Nations Development Programme UNDP that was released globally. The ranking clearly shows that India has failed in comparative terms in ensuring a better quality of life for citizens as the previous index since 1990. The index goes beyond a nation's gross domestic product to measure the general well-being of the people under a huge amount of parameters such as deficiency level, illiteracy, and gender related issues. Economic growth is important for enhancing living conditions. Its reach and impact dependent greatly on what we do with the increased income. The relation between the economic growth and the advancement of living standards depends on many factors, including economic and social inequality and, no less importantly, on what the government does with the public revenue that is generated by the economic growth. However, India has made a steady progress on the Human Development Index. Many quality of life factors and the indicators used to represent these factors are literacy. In India, as a key for a social economic progress, and the Indian literacy rate grew up to 74% in 1911 from 12% at the end of British rule 1947. Although this was a superior than 6-fold improvement, the level is well below the world average literacy rate of 84%. And of all nations, India currently has the largest literate population. Poverty in India is widespread, with the nations estimated to have a third of world's poor. In 2010, the World Bank reported that 32% of people in India fall below the international deficiency line of US $1.25 per day, while 68% live on less than US dollars on $2 per day. India's deficiency rate projected to drop from 51% in 1999, about 22% in 2015. Next is material well-being. Material well-being is one of the measurement of human well-being. Material well-being is measured through income, consumption patterns of assets or wealth. In developing countries, assets of poor people often include land or livestock. Asset owners usually do not know the value of their assets because they have no information of consumer price index, or they are unable to report land ownership in the state, or asset management remains challenging. Health. It is a level of functional or metabolic efficiency of a living individual. The World Health Organization defined health in its broader sense in 1946 as a state of complete physical, mental and social well-being. It is not merely the absence of disease or any other problem. Job security. Job security is the probability that an individual will keep his or her job, or a job with a high level of job security is such that a person with job world have a small chance of becoming unemployed. Factors affecting job security is dependent on economy, prevailing business conditions and the individual's personal life. Next one is political freedom. Political freedom, also known as political autonomy or political agency, is a vital concept. It has been described as a relationship free of apprehension or force or the absence of lived conditions of compulsion, for example, economic compulsion in a society. Next one is community life. Community life refers to a usually small social unit of any size that shares the common values of a community. Next one is gender equality. It is achieved when women and men enjoy the same right and opportunities across all sectors of the society, including economic participation and decision making, and when the different behaviors, aspirants and the needs of women and men are equally valued and favored. According to Indian expert SVS Vidyasagar, the statistics about China and India drawn mainly from the World Bank and the United Nations are relevant here. Life expectancy at birth in China is 73 years. In India, it is 64 years. The infant mortality rate in 50 per thousand in India compared with just 17 in China. China's adult illiteracy rate is 94% compared with India's 74% according to the preliminary tables of 2011 census. GNP per capita is, however, not invariably a good predictor of valuable features of our lives, for those features depend also on other things that we do or fail to do. Compare India with Bangladesh. In income, India has huge lead over Bangladesh with a GNP per capita of $1,170 compared to $950 in Bangladesh. In comparable units of purchasing power, this difference has expanded rapidly because of India's faster rate of recent economic growth, and that of course is a point in India's favor. India's substantially higher rank than Bangladesh in the United Nations Human Development Index is largely due to this particular achievement. Interestingly, the female literacy rate among the young Bangladeshis is actually higher than the male rate, whereas young women still have substantially lower rates than young males in India. One of the positive things that about economic growth is that it generates public resources that the government can devote to its priorities. In fact, public resources very often grow faster than a GNP. Most Indians are strongly appreciate of democratic structure of the country, including its many political parties, systematic free election, uncensored media, free speech and independent spending of judiciary, among the other characteristics of a lively democracy. Freedom of expression has its own value as potentially important instrument for the democratic politics, but also as something that people enjoy wealth. Even the poorest parts of the population want to participate in social and political life, and in India they can do so. If our focus is on a comprehensive comparison of the quality of life in India and China, we have to look well beyond the traditional social indicators. Now, let us discuss the advantages of quality of life index. Quality of life index is an important concept in the field of international development, since it allows progress to analyzed on a measure broader than a standard of living. Within progress theory, however, there are varying ideas concerning that constitute desirable change for a particular society, and the different ways that quality of life is defined by institutions therefore shapes how these organizations work for its improvement as a whole. Organizations such as World Bank, for example, declare a goal of working for world-free deficiency, with poverty defined as a lack of basic human needs such as food, water, shelter, freedom, access to education, healthcare or employment, so on and so forth. In other words, deficiency is defined as a low quality of life. Using its definition, the World Bank mechanism towards improving the quality of life through neoliberal means, with the stated goal of lowering deficiency and helping people afford to a better quality of life. Other organizations, however, may also work towards improved global quality of life using slightly different definition and substantially different methods. Many NGOs do not focus at all on reducing deficiency on national or international scale, but rather attempt to improve quality of life for individuals or communities. One example would be sponsorship programs that provide material aid for specific individuals. Although many organizations of this type may still talk about fighting deficiency, the methods are significantly different. Now, let us discuss some of the problems and suggestions to overcome the low quality of life. Once R.J.D. Tata says that I do not want India to be an economic power, but I want India to be a happy country. All of us know that India is the most sought under business destination for many global conglomerates, but when we talk through the quality of life in Indian cities, and then we fall short of words as we do not have much to say about this. The quality of life plays a major role in the performance of any country. Hence, performance of any country is not just the economic development, but it also related to social development. Overall performance is measured by the GDP and the Human Development Index. No doubt that GDP of India is growing rapidly, and this is a matter of proud, but still we lack in Human Development Index front. We always compare India with other countries, especially China, on economic development, but such comparisons are rarely done for factors such as life expectancy, education level, daily life of a person, etc. No doubt that economic development is a must for any country and individual, as this uplifts the quality of life. But along with this, we need to work hard on the human development sector. It is not that India is not putting any effort for the improvement of this same. There are many plans and programs at the root level that have been initiated, but still require a speed to achieve more on this front. Many laws and policies have been created to solve the problem of poverty, malnutrition, and problems related to health and sanitation, but lack of their proper implementation and execution is leading to unsatisfactory results. Improving the quality of life involves actions not only by NGOs, but also by the governments. Global health has the possibility to achieve superior political presence if governments were to incorporate aspects of human security into foreign policy. Stressing individuals' basic rights to health, food, shelter and freedom addresses prominent intersectoral problems negatively impacting today's society and may lead to superior action and resources. Integration of global health concerns into foreign policy may be hampered by approaches that are shaped by overreaching roles of defense and diplomacy. Unlike per capita GDP, our standard of living, both of which can be measured in financial terms, is harder to make objective or long-term measurements of the quality of life experienced by nations or other groups of people. Researchers have begun in recent times to distinguish two aspects of personal well-being: emotional well-being, in which respondents are asked about the quality of their everyday emotional experiences and the frequency and the intensity of their experiences of, for example, joy, stress, sadness, anger and affection, and the life evaluation, in which respondents are asked to think about their life in general, evaluate it against a scale. Research has attempted to examine the relationship between the quality of life and productivity. With the help of the discussion, it is clear that economic development and the growth is incomplete without increase in the Human Development Index and quality of life in India. Maximum benefits should be extracted from the current economic development, and there should be appropriate framework for various aspects of human development such as education, health, child nutrition, facility of drinking water, proper roads, so on and so forth.